In 5 years from now, people are going to go, wow, this was super obvious. How did we not realize the future of tokenization? I wish I was paying attention during the hard days. Hey, what is up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. If you hold XRP, API3, Casper, HBAR, or Algo, please watch all of this one. First up, we're looking at the Bitcoin price chart. Now, as we know, last year for March, April, even May, so Q1 and Q3, it was absolutely terrible for the crypto market. And by the looks of it, it looks like April and May could be very good months for the altcoin market. We can see Bitcoin up to the 236 Fibonacci retracement, currently holding. So on the macro, what I would like to see is Bitcoin to maintain above the 50 moving average on the monthly time frame, so currently around 24,000. If it breaks through that, the next level I'd like to see hold is this 11.8 fib, currently 21,700. Now, by the looks of it, different altcoins are starting to take off, some of which from the bottom have done a 2, 3, 5, if not 10x for low caps. Now for this year, if we see Bitcoin from its low set in 2022 do a typical retracement that we have seen 3 times in the crypto market over the past 10 years, it's very likely we're going to see other altcoins finally follow after a super long bear market and get that 2, 3, maybe 5x return. And last thing, for the Bitcoin weekly price chart, we are currently above the 50-week moving average, dating back to even 2012, so over 10 years. And historically, as long as we maintain above it, maybe even leverage it as support, we can keep going much higher. So you can see a bull run here, falling below bear market, challenging it, falling back, next bull run, maintaining above it, wicking on it, establishing support, right there, broke through, retest, bear market. And this was the Bitcoin retracement that we had before the March 2020 crash, getting back above, establishing support in the next impulse. And basically 1 year later, we got back over that level. Now, a few things, guys, please pay close attention to this. So huge shout out to Genfinity and then Casper Labs. The CEO, Renal, actually hopped on alongside a few people like Christian Hasker at Hedera. It was an amazing spaces if you have time to check it out. Going over, let's see, VeChain, XDC with Quincy, just top tier information. Now, what's exciting, the CEO of Casper said the following. And remember, at Paris Blockchain Week last week, Casper's project on IPW won the award for the best enterprise blockchain project of the year, beating out JP Morgan and a variety of other projects. So this is the biggest enterprise deployment on blockchain in history, bigger than Ethereum, bigger than any other layer 1 that exists. 25 million patents, intellectual property, IP, will be deployed on Casper's network in the coming weeks. So I keep trying to get an exact date, but only time will tell. So 25 million patents. Now IPW is massive, based in France and Texas, and they have Fortune 500 companies leveraging their patents and licenses on their platform today. And the CEO of Casper said this verbatim in the spaces like 1 hour and 36 minutes in. The aggregate value of the intellectual property that is going on Casper right now initially is between $7 to $10 billion. That's insane. I know previously they said the aggregate value was in the billions, but I was thinking like 2 to 3. And keep in mind, Casper's market cap is still under $1 billion, so $7 to $10 billion of value transacted on Casper's network. Now, a few points in this. Ethereum's total value locked is a cool metric for DeFi, but enterprise value coming onto blockchain is much bigger. Remember, Gardner is projecting $3 trillion in value in the coming years alone. And also, these patents are real patents used by Fortune 500s. He used a few examples such as companies like Nike and Toshiba. And now that some of these huge Fortune 500s and other companies that are leveraging IPW already having their licenses and patents on IPW running on Casper, it's going to be easier for Casper Labs to then approach those large enterprise customers. And they could say, hey, since you're already using our technology today with the patents, would you like to explore other options? That's genius. Now we know Casper 2.0, the upgrade is coming for even better efficiency, running 2 different consensus mechanisms simultaneously. Also, budgeting gas fees. This is huge. So we've talked about predictability as well. And this feature is coming for enterprises and governments, Casper's target market. So think of this like fixed costs, like other enterprises using Amazon Web Services today. It's a fixed cost, they're comfortable using it. And with a fixed cost rather than a variable cost, you can scale and forecast. This is absolutely necessary for governments and enterprises to be comfortable scaling solutions. So I can think of 25 million reasons, or maybe $7 to $10 billion coming as to why I'm excited for the future of Casper. In IPW, Casper's partner on Hyperledger's foundation right here, their valuations now include South Korean and Taiwanese intellectual property. So they have a lot of intellectual property, billions and billions of dollars. This won the Best Enterprise Award at Paris Blockchain Week. If you saw the lineup there, they beat out JP Morgan and a variety of other projects. That means that all these enterprises and Fortune 500s are going to be turning their heads at Casper. This is creating a brand new marketplace of enterprise utility, so intellectual property can be traded and traceable. You have an audit trail, and the metadata within the NFT existing on Casper can be updated. You have basically the expiration date, you have the country of origin, all types of information in the patents. In 5 years from now, people are going to go, wow, this is super obvious. How did we not realize the future of tokenization? I wish I was paying attention during the hard days. Now, speaking of Ripple and Casper forming a partnership, so we know for certain that Peter, program manager at Casper Association, was speaking with the company Ripple at Paris Blockchain Week last week, and they are putting their business development teams together. So they are currently linking up and understanding each other's technology stack to see where they could help each other. Now, keep in mind, I believe that XRP will be a huge transfer of value. It has been developing liquidity for years. Currently, even in remittance corridors, 40 payout markets. That takes forever. In terms of cross-border payments, I think XRP has this in the bag, provided they can defeat the SEC. So we have Bradley asking Peter, nice, what would you like to build together with Ripple if you could choose anything? I would combine our engine for the tokenization based on Actus, the standard for financial contracts, with their super fast and cheap settlements. Boom. That's why we talk to all the banks, leasing, rental companies, hedge funds, you name it. Now remember, Amag, the largest auto dealer in Switzerland, is already in development with Casper, looking at leasing agreements and using NFTs on Casper. So for anybody that's new and might not be super familiar with Casper and XRP, so the XRP ledger and Casper is an L1, I think they can be super complementary. Remember, XRP is one of the best ways to transfer value today. There are so many rich features with central bank digital currencies, sidechains, liquidity hub, which we'll talk about, asset tokenization, a 10-year plus track record of uptime never going down, central bank actual testing and pilots, central banks, not just small banks, like massive banks including Russia, one of the BRICS nations. They have a DEX and plugged into many corridors, and we'll talk about some of those. And it's my belief, because Ripple, the company, has explicitly said this, that they're starting off with a liquid remittance corridors, developing that liquidity, using it as a proof of concept to then scale up to high value payments where all the money is. And not financial advice, I'm also a huge believer that Casper will be a household name as an enterprise L1 for many of the Fortune 2000 companies. Remember, Skybridge, a $3.5 billion fund in tandem with Al Mascari, connected to the royal family of Abu Dhabi. If you're unfamiliar with how much money, I'm talking trillions of dollars, is in the Middle East, definitely check it out. Ripple has a regional headquarters in the Middle East, even in areas like Dubai, for a reason, and Casper has additional connections in the UAE. So for cross-border payments, $155 trillion sent across borders globally, so I'd say yeah, there's plenty of opportunity. Especially as the correspondent banking system, per recent studies, is shrinking. The margins are not good enough. They do not like the risk. We are going to a digital and tokenized future. The concept of Nostro Vostro accounts, the pre-funded accounts, are silly. It's 70 years old and needs updating with Web3. Now with Casper, I don't see it as a threat to XRP. I think XRP has payments in a bag. What I see Casper doing is going after enterprise and governments in terms of smart contracts. So upgradability, the only L1 that is upgradable smart contracts. It's hybrid, public, private, flexible, predictable, and sharding to increase the TPS. And it has the tech live today that Ethereum hopes to have in 5 years if they ever get to ETH 3.0. And the people behind Casper were part of the Ethereum Foundation. Partnered with multiple governments, as we shared, and tokenizing financial contracts, so Nucleus Finance and Actus. So this is what Peter was talking about with Casper's tokenization and then leveraging the XRP ledger for settlements. And of course, tokenizing patents, leasing for cars, everything. So I'm super excited to see the potential synergy between these two projects. And keep in mind, Anthony Scaramucci of the $3.5 billion fund Skybridge that is backing Casper said, if Casper can just get 50 of the top Fortune 2000 companies, it will become an industry standard. Also really quick, saw this. So Citibank, one of the largest, expects $4 trillion in value of tokenized assets by 2030. So almost $4 trillion in value by 2030. And also really quick, to discuss crypto liquidity in the future of tokenization, please watch all of this video, guys. So this liquidity hub is designed to more easily and efficiently source digital assets from the broader crypto market at optimized prices. And this liquidity hub leverages smart order routing to source a variety of digital assets. It does not just have to be XRP or Bitcoin, it can be any type of tokenized value at optimized prices from market makers. So they're connecting to exchanges, over-the-counter desks, everything. And it's helping enterprises get access to crypto. So this is a giant liquidity hub to allow enterprises to plug right into it for multi-asset liquidity. In other words, a trusted one-stop shop for buying, selling, and holding crypto assets. And keep in mind, for on-demand liquidity or XRP, Ripple has reached more than 40 payout corridors, processes millions of transactions and billions of dollars in volume. Now to talk about the future of tokenization briefly, whether you're looking at HBAR, we have the Toko engine, we have the XRP ledger that is able to tokenize anything. We have Casper with the Actus standard for financial contracts and tokenization as a service. So Liquidity Hub is going to play an important role in delivering the future of tokenization. We're going to see native counterparty-free tokens, Bitcoin of course, but protocol tokens like central bank digital currencies, and even real-world assets like stocks, real estate, carbon credits, and more. And these have already been tokenized. And also related to Algorand, we can see Michael Arrington sharing a picture of his best buddy Brad Garlinghouse. What exactly is going on here? We can see Brad right there with Algorand. And of course, they're chatting over in Boston. And from Algo Foundation, we're thrilled to see Flybondi tokenize their inventory with TravelX to create the world's first secondary market for airline tickets. Algorand is built for large-scale applications and real-world solutions. And the good thing about Algo is that Gary Gensler seems to like it because he's buddies with the founder. And we can see that Algorand and Ripple are also sponsors right here for the CMU Secure Blockchain Summit. And this is Scilab, Carnegie Mellon Security and Privacy Institute. And I saw Digital Autonomous Conductors share this. This is how adoption blossoms, ease of use. And Algo Foundation is launching a new toolkit called Algo Kit to help developers transition from Web 2 to Web 3. Now looking at the Algorand price chart next to Ultra, so these are two assets that appear pretty similar per their chart structure. We can see both hitting previous fibs. Now something to note is that Algorand's performance has been absolutely terrible, which makes me pretty hopeful for the future since a lot of assets have already retraced a little bit. So for example, XRP and HBAR are up here at the 11.8, that's equivalent to 44 cents. If we're trying to be super conservative, at this fib level is exactly 30 cents. So I personally believe that Algo's next targets would be 30 cents and 44 cents provided Bitcoin can hold. And also remember that Bitcoin and Ether already reached their 236 from their previous all-time high. So that's currently around 70 cents, also by that triple bottom on the chart. Next up, we have the X Frontier. So if you hold Casper, this guy is an absolute must follow. Now to briefly look at Nucleus Finance as we scroll down. This is built on Casper and the Actus standard right here. So just like we have ISO 222 and other ISO standards for some crypto projects, which is financial messaging or Swift messaging, we have financial contracts as well. And I think Casper is going to be massive for financial contracts. And Actus is algorithmic contract type unified standard. It takes financial contracts that are written by lawyers and have endless variables with language, legal terminology, jurisdictions, all types of information. It takes all of this and puts this into a standardized pattern or algorithm. Now remember that Nucleus Finance built on Casper partnered with WM.in Service. Nucleus Finance is the first partner with tokenization as a service. So we can see Casper Labs right there, and WM.in Service is the central authority and data provider for the global financial market. So massive ties throughout Europe. So the X Frontier sharing, Nucleus Finance clients, Europe leasing company with $5 billion leased assets. So we have WM.in Service, as we mentioned, structured tokenized products, and this is Europe's largest legal entity, the LEI issuer. State government with $160 billion GDP to develop factorization marketplace. And according to Meta, the CTO of Casper, we are in talks with lots of large financial institutions that are getting ready to make that leap. So be sure to follow the X Frontier guys. We can just look at this really quick, but I'm sure he covered this on his YouTube channel. And we can see a variety of massive names, some of which the big four like KPMG. We have Deloitte, we have PwC. So asset-backed security tokens, tokenized invoices, improving liquidity markets for factoring. This proof of concept has been finalized. This one is actually in development, and then this one, feasibility study, is currently in progress. Now also related to Hedera, so remember Atma, $22 billion tracked on Hedera right now. So this is huge for the life cycle of items for digital identity and supply chain tracking. Now this was an older post, but we can see Avery Dennison on Hedera's council right here. We're excited to announce our new chat GPT and AI features to our Atma.io connected product cloud in spring 23. So we're seeing more and more firms leverage AI. And on Hedera, TXNS, or transactions.com, we can see the mainnet is over 6 billion transactions. It sounded crazy when we only had 10 million transactions. Now we're at 6 billion. It does not seem that crazy now to expect 10 billion or even 100 billion, and at some point, trillions. And saw credible crypto right here. The largest user of MasterCard's private blockchain network just migrated to Hedera. As part of this initial integration, FSCO is migrating the whole of its existing business onto Hedera. So that's super exciting. So Fresh Supply Company AU, the largest user of MasterCard provenance and partner of Combank, migrated from the private MasterCard blockchain to Hedera for real-world tokenization, RWA. Saw Mason share this, reasons HBAR is pumping right now, so we just discussed the MasterCard news. And also, we'll talk about this next, but we can see Hedera recently crossed 6 billion transactions and is easily doing 10 million transactions per day. Crazy. We have a new HBAR native hardware wallet that is launched by Citadel. So we can see the other day right here, Hedera made a commitment to convene a democracy roundtable on how blockchain technologies can and are supporting human rights, transparency, sustainability through DLT-enabled apps. So we can see at the Summit for Democracy, tagging the President of the US, Hedera will invite companies, trade associations, advocacy groups, academics, government officials, and share a summary of discussion and make recommendations for next steps toward improving accountability, fighting misinformation, and reducing data manipulation with DLT. Let's hope they do it ASAP, because the United States needs a kick in the butt. I saw JT share this, and I found this super interesting for anybody wondering what is alt season and what are we looking for in terms of Bitcoin price action and Bitcoin dominance price action. So JT posts right here, the sweet spot for altcoins is highlighted below in the green. Essentially, when Bitcoin dominance falls, as Bitcoin's price is rising, alts can move into the stratosphere. So let's look at this. Bitcoin dominance, when it's going up and Bitcoin's going up, alts can move up. And what we can see here is when Bitcoin falls here, altcoins fall. When Bitcoin falls here, altcoins fall. And there are some cases where Bitcoin does get that huge retracement, and during the pullback, it can shoot alts. Okay, next up, guys, please stay with me for this one. So we have Roth sharing new Ripple partner, MFS Africa, which will be using on-demand liquidity, also XRP, a massive customer. We'll talk about that briefly, partnering with Access Bank for remittance. And this is shared by Bedict right here. MFS Africa partnering with Access Bank to enable outward remittances from Kenya, Nigeria. Now remember, Ripple expansion into Africa, partnering with MFS Africa. And you can see MFS Africa using Ripple's on-demand liquidity specifically. MFS Africa connects over 400 million mobile wallets across 35 countries, operating across 800 payment corridors. Huge. So memorize this group, using on-demand liquidity or XRP. Now in a recent report, where do we see this again? MFS Africa. Now this was back in 2022, put out by the central bank of all central banks, the BIS. Now we've gone over this before, but I just wanted to show you some other platforms. So we have Buna, highly probable that XRP is already integrated with this platform. We have TIPS, XRP enabled. We have MFS Africa, multi-regional for Africa. Now why is this important? Well, a month or two ago, from another document by the BIS that was shared on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure Roth was the one that shared it, and he is one of the best researchers on all of Twitter. And it was basically the BIS using MFS Africa as an example for a hub to basically connect to other countries and jurisdictions. So using MFS Africa, an ODL user for XRP, to connect to other countries and continents outside of Africa. And we already said 800 payment corridors, 400 million mobile wallets. Crazy. And speaking of Buna, we have Matthew Liny, another absolute must follow. Saudi Arabia's payments network is likely to use Buna. And we can see Matthew sharing here as well. You have the BRICS nations mentioning the Central Bank of Brazil, which has already had a private meeting with the company Ripple. You have the BRICS Business Council right here in a variety of countries, and discussing the SDR basket. So we can see Latin America, Africa, Asia. Also, HBAR Foundation excited to announce that its Mint, the music NFT project, is generating new revenue streams for artists through the power of Web3 and is migrated from ETH to Hedera. And it's my personal belief that a lot more projects are going to be migrating from ETH to other layer ones, including Hedera, because it's so much more efficient. And also, Roth sharing this. So Finastra, anytime we share this, people think this is old news. This is still active. This is one of the largest Ripple partners or integrations that exists. So we can see Finastra, Fusion Total Messaging, continues to mention the company Ripple, a partner, as an alternative messaging network for payment service providers. Non-Swift market infrastructure including, all the way down, we can see Chips, FedNow, Ripple, MasterCard, also a Ripple partner. So remember, Finastra's Pay Plus is already integrated with RippleNet. They are massive, connected to CLS, continuous linked settlement. This transacts over 50% of foreign exchange volume. That's $2 to $3 trillion right there. So remember, Finastra, since this post, 48 of the top 50 banks in the world use Finastra, 9,000 customers, 130 countries. So Finastra is absolutely huge and it's great to see them still mentioning Ripple. Also, Anders right here, XRP and QNT, they both gain synergy together, so this looks awesome. We have quant developers, better tracking for the XRP ledger so you can more efficiently manage your XRP related transactions. With the Overledger release, the operating system of Quant Network with 2.2.27. And also, digitalization is upon us right here. The United States federal government today, March 31st, 2023, attempting to implement programmable money central bank digital currency. We can see right here, a fast track action committee on digital assets research and development. We can see digital assets, DLT identity, and the utility of digital assets across a range of domains. Also, API 3, brand new partner, we have Quintessence Lab, a global leader in cybersecurity, to expand the providers of API 3's QRNG Oracle service. And quantum-generated random numbers provide maximum security for on-chain gaming, NFTs, prediction markets, you name it. And you can keep a close eye on some of the decentralized APIs live today on market.api3.org/dapis. We can see Aave, ADA, Algo, etc. And there are tons of pages. And API 3 self-funded DAPIs have recently been introduced through the API market, currently on 11 networks. Just the beginning. But alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. This did take a long time to put together for a YouTube video, like hours and hours and hours, but I love it. It's research I already do. So if you guys do find this information helpful, would greatly appreciate you hitting the like button, consider subscribing, and share this around. Huge thanks. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.